Welcome back to another edition of the Breakdown, you all. This is part 3 of my national championship preview. Today, or in this video, I'm going to give you a preview of the Georgia defense. I'm going to try to go through this quick because I'm coming down to the wire on this game, so I got to get it out to you. Without further ado, let's talk about what type of defense they run and who they are. So, of course, Kirby Smart being the head coach, he was the defensive coordinator under Nick Saban for 8 years. He knows Saban's scheme, and you can see that. You can see Saban's print and Kirby Smart's print overall, his style of it on this Georgia defense. Not to mention that they have Mel Tucker, who was Alabama's defensive backs coach the previous year. When he was, it was 2 years ago when they both were on the same team with Alabama. He is the defensive coordinator, so you can see kind of their stamp and their style of defense, and you know with those two, it's going to be nasty. So they run a 3-4/multiple front. Like Alabama, they run mainly a 3-4 out of their base, but they can switch it up to a 4-3 like system with all those outside linebacker types that they have. And so they run that, and they run it pretty well. You can definitely, like I said, you can definitely tell that Kirby Smart and Nick Saban think very much alike defensively. Now, overall, this is what I noticed. So Georgia fans, don't get mad at me for saying this. I'm not saying that Georgia, well, I'm just going to say the statement first. I noticed that they're not necessarily the most talented bunch, but they are well coached. So when I say not the most talented bunch, I'm not saying that, they have Boise State talent. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying at all. I actually think Georgia's one of the most talented fronts in the nation. But compared to what we've seen in Clemson and Auburn, they're not as dynamic defensively, if you get what I'm trying to say. I know some people are going to misunderstand that, but I'm going to try to explain what I mean by that. So what I mean by most dynamic is that I don't see a lot of the Georgia defensive guys necessarily having star power. They just use their collective abilities together to make for a very good defensive front to play games. Well, they remind me almost closer to like that 2009 Alabama defense where they weren't necessarily like all-world talent, but they all did their job very well, and they definitely had the talent to do their positions. And so I'm going to get into some of that. But first of all, the most dangerous guy on their defense, in my opinion, is Tyler Clark, number 52. He's like defensive tackle / defensive end, depending on what type of front they're in. And he is really, really good. I've gone back and watched games, and I consistently seen Tyler Clark blow people up into the backfield. I've seen him just like knife through gaps and make linemen really have to respect his rush. He's their most dangerous player, most dangerous player on defense, even over Roquan Smith, in my opinion, because he really gets that interior moving. He's 6'4", 305 pounds, and he really made a living in Oklahoma's backfield. A lot of people thought Oklahoma got conservative in the Rose Bowl game, and that's why they lost. And no, they lost because this guy and others in that Georgia front completely blew them up. And it's going to be something crazy. When I do my keys and matchups videos after this, he's going to play a prominent role in the keys and the matchups. So moving on, number 18, the cornerback, DeAndre Baker. Man, he is a really good corner in the field out there. I think he plays more of the boundary corner position toward that, the right side. And so he may see a lot of matchups with Calvin Ridley. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. When he first got there, a lot of people were like, oh, we don't know about DeAndre Baker. But he's definitely blossomed into a really good corner and probably underrated. People have not talked about him. I don't even think he made the All-SEC when he probably should have. When I see the cornerbacks making plays, it's usually him. He, in my opinion, is their top corner guy. Georgia fans, if you're watching this video, tell me if you agree with me or not. Is DeAndre Baker your top corner? Or do you think a guy like, Aaron Davis, who's a little bit more versatile, is he your favorite guy in the secondary, or whoever it may be? Just let me know. Now, moving on, of course, I got to mention him because he won the Buckets Award. That's the best linebacker in the nation. Roquan Smith. He's very talented. He is fast. As a matter of fact, if I can find it, if I don't have to go run around too much to find it, I'm going to try to look over my notes really, really fast. First quarter of the SEC championship game against Auburn. Go see the 10-minute, 43-second mark. If you want to see how fast Roquan Smith is, watch him on that play. Just go look at him. So he's talented, he's fast, he's big. He can really move around. He's the Mike linebacker. He makes all the calls. But there's one thing about him lately. I don't know if it's been like this the whole season, but lately he has a tendency to miss tackles in the open field. Like he'll get there, but then he'll take a really weird angle. He'll try to wrap up in a weird way. He'll try to dive at it, and he just misses. I've seen him do it in the Auburn game, and I've seen him do it in the Oklahoma game. Georgia fans, you can let me know if this has been a consistent problem throughout the season. I would assume not, since he has so many tackles, but it could just be that he gets to the ball so much that these are kind of washed down by the fact that he has so many tackles. So just let me know what you all think about that. So that's what I know is those are three probably the most impactful players on the defense, although they have solid players all the way around, like guys in the secondary, such as Tyreek McGee, the senior defensive back, Malcolm Parrish, and the other corner, number 26. His name won't come to mind right now. Oh, no, that's McGee, but I can't think of the other guy right now. There's another. But they have a lot of talent in that backfield. What I do notice, now going back to their D-line, it is well coached. They rely on their strength and quickness. Like Clemson, in a weird way, they're not quick twitch pass rushers. They want to maintain leverage on the line of scrimmage, and they run about too deep on the defensive line. So I noticed that they like to rotate guys. So they got, Kirby Smart brought that in from Alabama as well. They like to rotate guys. So they have some really big guys on the line of scrimmage. Like I said, this is why they're not quick twitch pass rushers, because they're also big. Jonathan Ledbetter, who's a defensive end, he's 6'4", 277 pounds. He's number 13. You have Trenton Thompson, who was a five-star recruit a couple years ago. He's 6'4", 295 pounds. He's number 78. You have John Atkins, number 97, a tackle in there. He's 6'4", 315 pounds. And of course, I already told you about Tyler Clark being 6'4", 305. Not to mention, that the fact that they have these big guys who they use their strength and quickness, they can rotate them out to try to keep them fresh. But as I said before, these guys don't necessarily blow up your line. They're trying to maintain leverage on it and get by you with their strength and quickness. And Tyler Clark does it the best, in my opinion. Now, speaking of their linebackers, I told you they run a 3-4, so they have two outside linebackers in their base, and they have two middle linebackers in their base. But, it kind of mixes and matches depending on what formation they're in, whether they're nickel or dime, and who they want to keep in at the game at a certain point. So the names you want to know are Davin Bellamy, number 17, 6'2", 236 pounds. He's an outside linebacker. Then you have number 7. Everyone knows his name, Lorenzo Carter. He's 6'6", 242. He is a really rangy, long type guy. And he looks smaller than he actually is because he's so tall. Then, of course, the middle linebackers, I told you, Roquan. And then you have number 45. I've noticed him. I don't even know his name. I just know he's fast because I see him running to the ball so much. He plays a lot. The other guy, I didn't have time to look up this, but number 6, his last name is Patrick. He plays the will linebacker. I haven't seen him a lot lately. I don't know if that means he's injured. Georgia fans, you can comment on that, or if he's just been surpassed by number 45. You all can let me know. But they do play quite a bit. And then the backup, another outside linebacker that they have, who's kind of a backup guy, is DeAndre Walker, number 15. He's 6'3", 240. So those guys like to maintain the outside, and when they want to get a pass rush from that base set, they'll use those guys. But like I said, none of these guys are quick twitch pass rushers. They just use their strength and their quickness and their leverage. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, that'll be in the keys in the matchups, but that's what they like to do. These linebackers are talented, but they think that they can, when the time comes, if an offense can do it to them, they can make the linebackers undisciplined. So I don't know if it's been a tendency all year, but lately the linebackers have been all undisciplined. They've turned tight end loose in the Rose Bowl. They overrun some plays. So that's interesting. The secondary, like I said, is solid. DeAndre Baker, Malcolm Parrish, Tyreek McGee. You got Sanders at safety and Reed at safety. Baker's their best guy. And in my opinion, the secondary is solid, but it's not dynamic. Like I said, the defense overall. I see Baker making plays. Everyone else, I see them, playing their versatile positions like Aaron Davis and whatnot, number 35. But I don't see them making big time plays, which you don't necessarily need. Sometimes you just need to lock up your guys. I've seen them lock down people, but it seems that they haven't been challenged a lot. That seems to be the main thing with me. I have not seen their secondary get challenged a lot, and so we'll see what happens in this game. They have talent, obviously. And then I also just noticed that they like to blitz sometimes to generate more pressure because, like I said, the defensive line is not quick twitch pass rushers. And with that said, I think I'm going to leave it at that. That is going to be the Georgia defense. That's what I'm going to give you. If you didn't know any of the guys, hopefully now you have a somewhat an understanding of who they are. Let me know what you think about the defense. Who do you think is the most dangerous guy on the Georgia defense? Leave it in the comments. I'll leave you until my next video, keys and matchups, which should be out today as well. See you next time.